try to set this thing up here. There we go. So, geez, my nose has just been going crazy this morning. It's been annoying the hell out of me, but today is day 2 of just, recording myself and getting through the progress and updates of just trying to do self-improvement. Today is currently a Sunday. It's 8/24/2025. Yesterday was 8/23/2025, so currently the weekend right now. So I'm not able to really do much work. I mean, I can do some, but right now, majority of the work that I need to be done is during those weekdays. So right now, I'm not really giving many updates on how work is going and such. I have some computer work, but not a ton to do. And so I'm really just mainly focusing on my health and wellness. And today, I'm gonna be stepping it up a little bit too. Yesterday, I had a little bit of like an introduction day for myself. I made it a little bit easier. All I did was a small walk, out and about, outdoors, no music, no nothing. And then did like a 15-minute treadmill on 3.5 incline and 3.5 speed. Just walking that for 15 minutes. That felt good. I got my blood rushing, got a little sweat dripping. And did a small little like chest day, but that's really, and I guess triceps too. But today it's gonna be stepping it up a little bit more. I'm gonna be doing much harsher cardio. I'm thinking first I'm gonna start with a little walk, a nice incline, something to get the blood flowing again, and then try to maybe step it up and start doing a little bit more of like a jog, a lighter jog for a minute. I think my knee will be comfortable enough too, just because my knee has been bothering me, but I think it's good by now. I just wanted to talk to myself through the camera, maybe anybody who watches this. I highly doubt anybody's gonna be watching these here, and just talk to you guys about maybe, achieving your goals. What does it mean for every individual? I think every individual, there's different goals that people have, obviously, right? But I think all goals are achieved typically in a similar way. And I feel like a lot of times that's that first introduction period for however long, it's just hell all the time. There's never a break. You don't feel like you're making any progress is really a big thing, right? It's this constant setback stage of just trying to learn and get better. And I think that lasts a very long time, in my opinion, before you ever feel that feeling of like, okay, I finally accomplished that goal. And that's something that I'm trying to mentally prepare myself to, like, especially within business, right? A lot of people think, oh, it's gonna be quick, it's gonna be easy. Oh, I can just, a lot of these gurus online, they're just like, oh, you can go on and just make 100K in the first month and you'll make 100K every month after that. And it's like, chances are really high that that's not how that's gonna be, right? Like, or if it is, typically it's not super sustainable. And I think that you have to go through these hard times to appreciate when you get to the good times of whether it be business, working out, anything, right? Like myself, I'm kind of starting at a start point that is a little bit worse than everybody else, right? And I understand that when it comes to my weight and such. Like I've always struggled with weight. When I was younger, I got up to 310 pounds, and I was like literally obese. Like I was really fat and like super fat, and it was bad. Like it would affect my sports, it affected everything. And the reasons on why I gained weight were certain personal reasons I'm not comfortable sharing quite yet over the camera for anybody to see or hear. But nonetheless, for myself there, I know I got to go through this introduction period that's gonna be really difficult. It's just, I was talking to my sister actually, and we were talking about how when you've lived a certain lifestyle for so long, whether it be the wrong lifestyle or the lifestyle that you don't want to choose, right? Whether that be eating for too long, eating bad food for too long or a long period of time of your life, and just all these unhealthy habits, right? You literally have to change your brain chemistry. Like you have to become obsessed with what it is that you want, your goal that you want to do, whether it be losing weight after being overweight for so long. You have to become mentally obsessed over it, because you're literally changing your brain chemistry and your physical, like your actual physical chemistry, like of your body, how it responds to certain foods, the chemicals, the hormones it releases when you eat, right? And these things come only through constant obsession and constant relevancy in your life. Like, you have to make it a relevant thing in your life. Like, when you're talking to people, you know, like when you become obsessed with something or trying to become something or achieve a goal, like, you're going to constantly be talking about it. And this kind of relates into what I was talking to my dad about too, is like, you kind of become a one-trick pony for a little while, like, before by the time you're able to achieve what it is you want to achieve. Like, you're always talking to it about with your friends, like, oh, I'm doing this, you know, I'm trying to lose weight, and like, I'm eating this way, or, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do that because, you know, it's just I'm not gonna be able to achieve my goals if I can't, you know, I can't go to this food venue spot, you know, stuff like that, or I don't want to go drinking all night because I know that that's not going to correlate with my goals, stuff like that. And I found too, I was talking to my sister because she's a super self-driven individual, and she makes me super proud. And she's had an amazing health journey as well, and she's actually, in my opinion, she's way ahead of me, and she started after me, and I introduced her to it. And we were just talking about it, and I think as well too, and anybody who's listening to this, and this applies to myself as well, and I've realized, is like, your circle, it's a lot of times when you get into these stages of life where you're like really trying to achieve a goal that's really important to you, a lot of times you end up having a smaller group of individuals around you. And a lot of times those individuals, you know, they're good when you can talk about the same thing or something on the same topic over and over again, but they understand it and they still react to it in a way where they still care, and it's almost like the first time they've heard it every time, because they care about you and they understand that's your goal. And you just kind of become self-obsessed with or not self-obsessed, but obsessive over the goal, because it's the only way to actually change anything, I feel like. Because it's like, you have to rewire your brain, you know, and that takes a lot of time. You know, like, old habits are really difficult. I even, you know, like, another thing too is like, if you ever learn how to do something one way and then try to change it after you've learned it that way, it's a lot more difficult to do that than to just do the way that you're changing to right away. Right? And that's like, really, it's just the truth of like, it's just the truth, you know, that's how it is. Like, it's very hard to change old habits. And, you know, I've struggled with it in different ways in my life, you know, in multiple different categories that are all super important for someone to have a healthy life. And so I'm really trying to change that. One thing I'm currently doing, and just to give an update as well, is that I'm trying to change my coffee intake. As dumb as that sounds, it's like, I drink these, like, I'll literally just tell my order. I get a large caramel high rise iced from Caribou with light ice and extra vanilla. And that's my go-to, like, right before I go to work and I'm out there out in the field, or I'm out locating, or I'm having to deal with computer work and such. That is literally what I get every time, and it's so bad for me. It's terrible. It's just not good. It's way too much dairy, sugar. I mean, the caffeine, I mean, my opinion on caffeine is caffeine isn't bad. It's really the vehicle that you get the caffeine, which is bad. Obviously, to a certain extent, in moderation. And yeah, I'm trying to change that right now. Like, yesterday was obviously the first day that I'm keeping track and doing all this, and I ordered a medium iced vanilla latte with no light ice, no extra vanilla, no nothing. Just kind of trying to take that baby step into like, okay, I need to stop drinking as much coffee. You know, it's kind of like it's so locked into my day-to-day life. As dumb and little as it sounds, it's actually makes a difference. Like, changing that, like, just that little thing, changing that, paired with obviously the working out and the walk and trying to be healthier. But for today's agenda, sorry to keep yapping about random stuff. I mean, it's not really random, it's tailored towards what this is all about. But for today's agenda, I'm going to be out hitting back and biceps, doing a little bit longer cardio is my goal as well. So a little bit longer of a cardio. And then I'm thinking about maybe doing some like stretching. Like, I have really bad mobility, and it's kind of hindered my ability to do certain things. And it's actually probably the reason why part of the reason why I had so much damage to my left knee. But yeah, I'll see. Chances are high probably won't be able to get any videos of me working out or anything like that. Just because there's people in the gym. I don't really like feel comfortable with like filming while other people are there. It's just a little bit weird. It's unnatural to me. Maybe eventually I'll get comfortable with it, but I'm sure other people can relate to that. Like, you don't want to film with people in the background because then they're always gonna have questions, or it's just gonna be weird the next time you go in the gym. But yeah, that's really about it for what I'm gonna be up to today. Another thing too, I guess, like a daily, I guess, a daily issue that could happen today with meeting my goals is that we're going to this, me, my girlfriend, and my sister are going to the state fair, and there's a lot of really unhealthy foods there. Obviously, like it's half the reason, more than half the reason, it's the majority of the reason why people go is to try out all the food. And so I'm gonna have to figure out, like, I'm gonna have to have a lot of self-control on like what foods I eat there. My girlfriend was talking about like a steak tenderloin. That sounds really good. And I can eat that, like that'll meet my goals. You know, maybe try one other thing, but get like a small version of it, or like, you know, share it with others so I don't eat all of it. That's probably what'll have to end up happening. And yeah, I'm gonna go get working out, doing all that stuff. Maybe get a video or two of me working out. We'll see. All this too is uncut footage. Like, I don't need to edit this. Like, there's no point in editing any of it. Like, I don't even make a thumbnail. I put it, I guess I put a description on the video, but that was really just trying to reach out to you guys and just see, like, if you guys have similar, if you're going through a similar experience right now, or you just an open space for people to be able to talk and understand and learn, and it kind of become that obsession that I was talking about earlier, and that relevancy within your brain of like the goals you want. A lot of times that helps talking with others about it. And so I'm gonna work out. I'll probably get a little outro after this too. Maybe get a little film footage of the state fair and show them that I'm eating well, you know, not eating super bad there. We'll see. And yeah, thank you. Bye. All right, everyone. So I got done with church today, and you know, this is part of me trying to become more spiritually connected through my journey. It's just going to church more, I think, is important. And today's message was very interesting, and it went over a lot to do with phone usage and phones in general and technology, but it was mainly tailored towards phones. And the basic premise of the message was that, and what I took away from the message, I guess you could say, is that there's kind of a blockade of phone usage, and I would say doom scrolling and using social media and such, and constantly being on the phone. It breaks your ability to have concentration, which is a proven fact. Everybody knows that. It's pretty obvious. And beyond that too, it can push, it's a distraction, and it's a way to kind of, it's an escapism, is what I would say it is, of reality. And I think that I've fallen short a lot on not using technology. I mean, I've used it way too much, and I'm going to take that message today from church of using technology and phones less, and trying to be more mindful of my social media consumption, because it has a lot of issues within my own personal life. And especially too, it's just a distraction, you know. Like, if you ask somebody, or if you've ever watched somebody watch even TikTok, you see that they go on there and they can't get past a video for more than 2 seconds, and I fall victim of and short of that too. And I think that the message was really good, and it definitely opened up my eyes personally into understanding that technology has become, it feels like its own attachment of you. like especially the phone and social media usage. I feel like it's just so natural, and it's become such a day-to-day activity that I do. It's the same thing of that mindfulness and self-reflection that I've been trying to preach here for myself in this journey of just understanding what it is I'm doing day to day and certain bad activities that I'm doing. And when it comes to even like trying to slow down on my coffee usage, right, starting yesterday and today, like those little things. And I think one thing that's not even a little thing, but it's a large thing, is my phone and using it for the wrong reasons. And moreover, just if I go onto my screen time, which I actually did today before I left for church there, I think my average was like 7 hours a day, roughly, which a lot of it has to do with email and such like that, and like texting and stuff, but a lot of it was social media usage and TikTok. And so I think from now on forward, I'm going to really try to hone in on not using social media as much, because I've seen that it's even, it's affected my ability to concentrate and focus. It's really it's a mind hacking thing. And a lot of these, and there was a quote by, it was either they quoted Bill Maher or Bill Burr, I don't know which one, both comedians, but talking about how people aren't lazy and that's why they go on their phone. It's been purposely designed by billionaires, and it's become effective, right? And trying to hack into our brains and our dopamine receptors and this quick, the economy of attention. Everybody understands there's an economy of attention, of just the new economy is attention, to be honest with you. Like everything to do with attention is how they make money. That's how they instead of buying something nowadays, they put an ad out for a company and they profit, they make a profit off of that by your attention. It's an attention economy. And to be mindful of that and know that there are things out there that are trying to gather my attention that aren't going to specifically improve my life. And that's something that I'm going to try to go more forward on and be more mindful of. And some people in my own life that have done that, it's such as my sister, and she's become mindful of that. She doesn't have TikTok, and she uses social media very rarely and stuff like that. And she's careful and really analyzes like how much phone usage she has. And that's something I've always kind of been like, yeah, I kind of want to do that, and I pushed it off. And so I'm going to really try to have a keen focus on making sure that my time is spent elsewhere and actually living life, not watching life and consuming, not being such a consumer, but being more of a producer is really important. And I know some other people have had that same message that I've seen online of being less of a consumer, more of a producer. And that's actually honestly what I'm actively doing by filming these and posting these, is maybe trying to use it less as use maybe social media only as a tool to further my own self-development, rather than going in and watching other people's lives and other things because it's a quick dopamine hit. It's like, oh, entertaining, it's stuff like that. Maybe reading a little bit more too is something that I'm going to start doing, and trying to gather longer forms of information, that require more attention and have more longevity to them, rather than these quick 20-second spurts of information that, it's just cool and all sometimes, but I think overall it doesn't improve anybody's life. And yeah, I just wanted to share that out here on the personal journey or vlog or whatever, and just say that I'm going to become more mindful of that. And I think it'll help clear my head a little bit more, like whenever I'm like sometimes a bad habit I have is whenever I'm stressed out, is that when I'm stressing or my brain is like having all these things flowing in them constantly, I think I'm not taking a step back and self-analyzing like what I'm trying to do here with these vlogs and videos. Rather, I'm going on social media and looking for that escapism, that quick dopamine, that quick attention. And funny enough, a little bit of a realization I came up with when listening to this is like, why do you, like, something that might open up other people's eyes and has opened up my own eyes. Why do you think a lot of these tech billionaires, these oligarchs, the people on Silicon Valley, why do you think they're so fearful of spirituality and more specifically Christianity? I think a lot of it has to do with they understand that one of the only things that people have an actual spiritual and actually give their attention to is the spirituality and connection with Christ and God. And a lot of these tech billionaires, as you see, they're a lot of times atheists, or a lot of times they fall into to say other religions that aren't really conducive with that inner spirit and connecting with the soul the way God does and Christianity does. And I think they're genuinely fearful, and that's why they downplay Christianity so much. And I've seen, and they try to enforce, honestly, they try to enforce on their own platforms these hedonistic, this hedonistic outview and outlook of the world, and like promote things that aren't spiritually fulfilling, is because that they want you to turn your attention to that, to their app, to their social media, their version of communication, rather than you having a communication with God. And they know that God is a separator between their power and their control over your own brain and you. Like that I think is what I'm starting to get at when it comes to spirituality in today's message, is that it really is a thing too, where, and they were talking about it, like people aren't really being 100% there anymore. And I've fallen huge victim to that. And that's something that I need to keep mindful of, and really be, as I said before, actionable, and trying to be more actionable in these things, that these root causes of things. Like I need to cut it at the stem, and know that with the message today, that really kind of opened my eyes up and into understanding. And maybe anybody who watches this, which probably won't be anybody yet, will know too, is that it's all hedonistic garbage. Like anything other than God, self-improvement, and the care of your loved ones. I think those are the main focuses that you need to have, and everything else is really just a distraction, and it really fills an empty void within your soul. And I think people have souls, and I have a soul as well, and that's something that I haven't been feeding my soul the correct things. And that's something I'm going to change, and that's something I'm going to show on here. And not to get too deep yet into anything and talk about, anything other than my own self-improvement, such as like society as a whole. I'm going to avoid talking too much about that right now, just because I myself need to learn more about me before I can talk about society. But for myself, and I think for a majority of people, you would improve your life by maybe looking at your screen time, seeing how long you're actually on the phone for during the day, and maybe try finding other avenues of ways to spend your time. And that's such an obvious message, but it's one of those things where I look at it as it's simple, but it's not easy. Like it's simple to understand. Maybe don't go on the phone as much, maybe enjoy the present moment, maybe have more quality time with your loved ones and God and yourself. But it's not easy to do so. And I think that relates to everything when it comes to self-improvement too. It's simple, but it's not easy. And so I think if more people followed through with that, I think society would be better as a whole. And I know for myself, I'd be a better human and a better person if I took less time having these distractive methods that these billionaire technology oligarchs try to force onto me and onto everybody else, and really took a sidestep or a backstep and just looked over my life and said, okay, I know that I'm falling victim towards entertaining this idea of that social media is what's going to fill my time and fill the void of my soul, and rather just maybe find other avenues that I've been doing, like working out, self-improvement, connection to others better, and fulfilling my own self-goals. So that's something I wanted to share within today's vlog, is just everything that I learned from today's message at church and applying that to myself, because it's important to learn these things, but not only just learn them, but to apply them, because talking only does so much. You can beat a dead horse, but it's not gonna move. It's up to you to figure out, how am I going to change this within my own life. So with that, I'm going to end this little segment part of today's journey and vlog. Here we go. Well, today was the second day of doing everything in the self-improvement. I got a great workout in. I did a little bit of back and biceps along with some cardio too. Went to the fair and I'm really happy, honestly, how that went. Surprisingly enough though, one of my sister's friends, she fainted, and I had to, while we were in this place, I had a video of it, but not of her fainting, but in the butterfly area or whatever, the state fair. It was like this big butterfly room area, and she fainted in there. I had to carry her out, and that was just not fun. That was a little crazy and hectic, but other than that, I ate really good though. I had like steak tip, or like like steak bites essentially, and I'm really happy that I ate well. And so far, honestly, my calories are looking really good. I'm feeling good. We're starting to feel a little bit better. And yeah, today was a really good day for that self-improvement and such, and I think that I'm really happy how things are going so far. I know it's going to be a lot more difficult during the work week to get in and work out and do all that stuff. It's going to just be more tough because I'm busy and I'm working and my mind's in a lot of other places, but I still need to hold myself accountable to work out every single day during that. And I'm going to make sure to keep on uploading and doing my self-tracking as well. But overall, really good day. Ate healthy. You know, I had eggs and yogurt, you know, that type of stuff. Steak tip, some coffee, but I had less coffee than I normally would. And I drank like this, it's like a cold brew, essentially a small cold brew with non-dairy creamer in it. So it's pretty healthy. Overall, good day. Continue going and continue striving and have that obsession of what I'm doing. Along with that, just keeping accountable, and you know, being actionable is a really important thing too. So that's it for day 2 of doing all this stuff. And yeah, if you guys are interested in more, you know, let me know. I'm sure nobody's still going to be watching this for right now, but if you want to talk about your own journeys, your own experiences, that's something I'd be down to do and talk to you guys about, you know, one-on-one or whatever it may be in the comment section. Who cares where at, you know, just because I find interest in other people wanting to improve and wanting to do better as well. Thank you. Bye.